Today's video, we are going to talk about your core four. So I'm going to reference this a lot. You're going to see it in your assessments. And these are the four things that are going to be your difference makers when it comes to your journey here. So number one is going to be tracking your food with accuracy. So I can only coach based on what I see in the app and what you are telling me through messages. So if you have a day where you go over on your calories, I don't want you to not track it because you feel ashamed about it or you're nervous about not hitting the targets that I set for you. I need to know. And this goes back to our conversation around open and honesty when you downloaded the app and around tracking 101. It's just data. There's never any judgment from me. So tracking with accuracy, whether you are going over your targets or not hitting them completely and you're under on your targets, is important for me to know. Then comes hitting calories and protein. So first step is tracking, understanding what it is that we're eating. Now it's actually hitting the two major things that are going to move the needle. Now, we talked about in macros that carbs and fats are just energy sources. So I'm not super concerned if we're over or under on one of those targets. What I'm more concerned about is if we're in a reasonable range with our protein, which I would say try to be within 10 grams of the goal that I've set for you. So if your goal is 150 grams, then I would say try to be within 140 to 150 grams for optimal results. And then calories, you're going to want to stay within your calorie range as much as possible. The app is set at a 10% threshold because going a little bit over one day or being a little bit under on another day is not going to be the major difference maker. It's more about what's happening repetitively. So sometimes if we are going 10% over every single day, that can really lead to a smaller calorie deficit and taking longer to get to your results. Now, if that's happening every now and again, that's probably not the reason why things aren't moving, and then I know to make adjustments for you. Next is going to be your movement. So when we are working together, we're going to talk about movement. You know that I'm going to recommend some resistance training if you know me at all, and that means we are lifting weights in some capacity. Depending on your schedule and depending on your goals, I am going to recommend how many days a week that's happening and what style that is happening in. Everybody who has different goals is going to have a different recommendation for that, along with actual cardio. So if we are doing prescribed cardio sessions, this is outside of walking. Outside of walking, that is going to be things like running or walking on an incline, adding some weighted vest walks, etc. So that's what I'm asking about there. So we have track our food with accuracy. We are hitting our calories and protein, getting in our movement goals, and last but not least, it is going to be drinking enough water. This one is like, really, water, is it that big of a deal when we have other things to worry about? Yes, staying hydrated can be the difference maker in being more consistent within your goals. If you're underhydrated, it can result in a lot of different things going on within our body, including flushing things out. The way that our body actually expels body fat is through fluid. So through our breath, through our sweat, and through our urine. If we're not hydrated enough, it's actually harder for our body to lose weight. So that's a fun fact about water for you. So those are the core four things. Those are the things that I'm looking at as like the big rocks to move the needle and that we're going to talk about the most. And then we can get into the more finer details, which will go into more of your assessment questions around sleep, step goals, etc., to continue to move the needle after we have the basics mastered. So that is your core four. That is why they're important, and that is why we talk about them a lot.